What is up, everybody? Welcome back to SNR Talks, episode 45, and today we've got current modified driver at Bowman Gray Stadium, Mike Speeney. Drives the number 10 car, pretty good looking car, sponsored by Shooting Targets USA. So yeah, it's awesome to have him come on here. It's awesome to finally be back on here. It's been forever since we've last been behind the mic. I think it's going to be just me tonight. Charlie, I've tried to call him all day, he ain't answered, so yeah, sorry to everybody that missed hearing Mr. Warren's voice. Maybe he'll be in the next one. But yeah, without further ado, let's get right into this thing, because we got a 15-minute limit, of course, so let's get right into it. See you guys there. Thanks for listening. Yeah, enjoy the show. Alright, so I am here with Mike Speeney. Mike, how you doing tonight?
Good, how are you?
Doing fine. A little rough, but I'm fine. Alright, well, let's go ahead and jump right into this thing with the first question. So, your speed this year has been incredible. You've qualified in the top 4 a couple times this year, and tell us, what is the difference in the car this year? What is the speed coming from?
Honestly, it's backing down from 2 cars to 1. Last year we had 2 cars, and trying to get both cars ready, each week. We only have, 2 people working on it part-time, trying to dot all the T's and I's and whatnot. I put about the same amount of time in it this year as last year, but being able to focus on one car, I really go through the car up and down every week, where I didn't have time to do that last year. And we're able to focus on one setup. Last year we ran 2 different setups in both cars, and we're kind of trying to develop 2 different setups. So now that we're able to focus on one, it's really helped us get that thing dialed in. And dialed in for me, too, as far as, driver preference. When you're trying to do 2 cars with, the small team that we have, it really wears on you, and you're not able to do everything that, you'd really like to do as far as in the shop or at the racetrack.
Yeah. Yeah, that speed has been incredible this year. I could definitely tell a difference.
It's been a lot of fun.
Seems like it. You've about won the Fans Challenge a couple times as well. What is it, twice now you've about won it?
Yeah, we're definitely getting there. The Fans Challenge actually is probably my favorite. Kind of winding my way through the field. That's the most entertaining. Obviously being up front's a lot of fun, but being able to come from the back and wind through the field and be able to strategically pick as far as inside, outside, it's like a giant chess game, where it's a lot more difficult when you start back there rather than starting up front.
Yeah. And speaking about the Fans Challenge, so I know a couple weeks ago for the $9,000 in the last 100 lap race, Chris Fleming said no to the challenge, yet they put him in the back anyways, and he got the money. Do you feel that was fair, or?
Yeah, I mean, if I was in Chris's position, I would. If they put me in the back, then I would definitely want to be eligible for the money. I had a quick conversation with him because he's not pitted far away from me. And he didn't want to take it, and I told him that was kind of a messed up deal, but it was kind of even more messed up, how much they had to fight for the money even when they, were in it. And somebody that actually qualified in and was said yes to it, I didn't mind Chris running for it when he was sent to the back. If he didn't get sent to the back and somehow he got into the money, yeah, that would have been, shorting me. But Chris started back there, so it was just one more, competitor in that pot that we were going against. So for me, it wasn't a big deal.
Yeah. Well, it's good to know you're not upset about it like that. I mean, you have another chance tomorrow night, actually, to try to go for the 9,000.
Yeah, so hopefully, weather depending tomorrow, but I have full intentions on taking that challenge if we qualify in the top 4 again.
Yeah. I wish I was there to see it. I got a pit pass to the Cars Tour race at Wilkesboro tomorrow, so I won't be able to attend Bowman Gray. I'm kind of hoping it, I hate to say it, but I'm kind of hoping it rains it out at Bowman Gray, but it stays dry at Wilkesboro, so it's like I ain't got to skip no race.
Yeah, actually, you and me both. I'd like to re-put the car back on scales after having to take the right front apart.
Yeah.
It's been a really busy week for me. So we just got it back together a couple hours ago, and I'd really like to go back through it again and then practice in the morning, because I don't think we're going to get practice tomorrow morning because of the rain.
Yeah. They need to come up with like a Friday night practice or something. That'd be cool too.
Yeah. That place is the only track that you can't practice at, as far as during the week or whenever you want, which makes it's a double-edged sword as far as being that's good, because you don't have people running over there all the time just testing, 7 days a week. But it's also bad because there's no other track like it, so you can't practice somewhere else for this track. So you're only limited to the practices that we get. So it's definitely good and bad as far as what side of the fence you're on for that.
Yeah. And with other tracks means you have the option if you want to run a different track. Do you ever plan on running maybe a Smart Tour race?
Yep. So we've got a tour car coming. It's almost finished. We got Nathan from Lineback Race Cars putting it together right now. Really excited about that car. We did a couple things different on it, and I'm really anxious to get that thing out on the track and shake it down and test it. So once Bowman finishes, I can turn my attention to that car. I think we're planning on running. We were going to try to do the beach trip they got, but the car's not going to be ready for that. So we'll probably end up doing Lonesome Pine and Wilkesboro.
Oh yeah, that's two pretty good tracks, especially Wilkesboro. I went there for the Smart Tour race and the Wheeling race. They put on a good show there.
Yeah, I've never been there, so I've never been to Lonesome either, but I've heard both tracks are awesome to race at, so I'm kind of anxious to get out there.
Yeah. It's definitely a cool experience down at Wilkesboro. That's 100% sure.
Yeah, I was, who was I just talking to? I think it might have been Nathan. He was describing the going into 1 where it goes downhill versus going into 3 where it's uphill, how the car reacts and stuff. So that's really going to be interesting for me to experience.
Yeah. So would you say Wilkesboro would be one of your dream tracks to race at?
Yeah, I would say Wilkesboro, and I'd like to get over to Richmond for the Wheeling race someday. Talking to Tony Hirschman years ago, he said that was always his favorite racetrack. And I've always liked that D shape that they got over there. And we watched I think we went to a couple cup races down there. It was always a good race to watch the cup cars down there.
Yeah. It ain't really been all that good here recently with the next gen car. I think they need to fix a little something on them.
Yeah, well, the next gen car's got all kinds of problems with it, so that's a whole day's topic right there.
Yeah. Let's see, and you've been racing for quite a long time. I've seen on your Facebook you've posted, I believe, raced in a late model. You've raced in modifieds a long time. So, how did racing start for you?
Racing started with a buddy of mine. I played hockey growing up. That was my sport growing up. I was on the train or the trail to go to the NHL and everything like that. And one of the guys I was playing with really liked NASCAR. And I've always liked, I rode dirt bikes when I was younger. Always loved go-karts. I always loved driving things. My grandfather was always into cars. So it was in my blood. It's just I didn't know what motorsports I wanted to get into. And I didn't really like going off the jumps with the dirt bikes. I like to stay grounded. So when my buddy introduced me to NASCAR, it was like, oh, cool. It's got a roll cage. We're not flying through the air. This is awesome. So as hockey started to wind down, I lost interest in hockey. I kind of got to see what going further into that, road to the NHL would look like. And I didn't love hockey like I love racing. So I couldn't devote the rest of my life to hockey. So that's where racing came in, and we got started with quarter midgets for a year, and then hopped into the modifieds at Mountain Speedway. I don't know what it's called now, but went there and then progressed up to the Race of Champions Series, the Rock Series. I think we did a wheeling race at Stafford, and then eventually came down here to do the Southern Tour, and I went to college down at UNC Charlotte. And we've kind of, family ended up moving down here, and we've been down here since.
That's a pretty cool story right there. Awesome to hear. Glad you're into the motorsports deal. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's actually funny now that I've, growing up playing hockey, you didn't really associate hockey players and race car drivers together. But now that I'm looking back at it, a lot of the Northeast race car drivers are either into watching hockey or playing hockey. I mean, Joe Logano, he played hockey when he was younger. I think Eric Amarola, he also played hockey. I'm pretty sure he did. And a lot of the drivers up in the Northeast, they all play hockey. There's a lot of crossover between NASCAR racing and hockey, which I thought was very interesting because obviously I'm a crossover as well.
Yeah. That's pretty cool, switching from hockey to racing. I would never expect it.
No, it's two very different sports, but they're both, as far as, sitting in the seat versus playing hockey, they're both, intense. There's a lot of thought that goes into racing as far as being a driver. You have to understand certain situations, and you have to understand the car. There's a lot of thought process that goes there along with hockey, and you have to do it in split seconds. It's not something where, like golf, where you have a long walk to your next shot where you can think about it. Hockey is a game of seconds, and racing is a game of seconds, or a sport of seconds. So the mental state of the driver and the hockey player are very close to each other as far as how fast the decisions have to be made, and kind of how fast paced the sport is from the driver's seat or the ice rink.
Oh yeah. And telling me you've played hockey, did you ever get in any fights playing hockey?
I wasn't much of a fighter. I was more of a hitter. So, when I was 14, I put a kid through the glass. I put multiple kids, into over the wall, into the penalty box or the benches. Fighting was never really something that I got into as far as being a part of the sport. I like the physical aspect. I like going into the corners and, shoving the opponent away or away from the puck, or being able to use my body to protect the puck and knock the opponents over. I like the physical aspect of it, but not necessarily the fighting part of it.
Yeah. Hey, that's good though. Stay out of the fights. I know hockey gets a little crazy here and there.
Yeah, it definitely has calmed down in recent years. I mean, it's not like the late 80s or early 90s. That's the hockey that I grew up watching. It's become more of a what they call European style, where it's more finesse rather than brute force.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Hockey to racing, no fights either.
I can't say that for Bowman.
Oh, so you've gotten into a fight at Bowman, Greg?
No, I haven't, but I've watched a lot. It is entertaining.
Oh, it does get good.
When a race ends and you just see, first you usually see about 3-4 people running down the pits, and then you see the crowd behind them, and usually the cops are in between the crowd and the first group, and our pits are kind of right in the middle of the pits, so we kind of see it going both ways. So it's more humorous for me. I don't get in any fights. I just kind of watch them from a distance. And, pull some popcorn and break out the lawn chair.
Oh yeah, they get good, especially a couple weeks ago.